It's day 211. Temperatures are just right for ginger, 25 Celsius and above, but not too hot. Humidity is always low in San Diego, 35 to 50% is a very common sight, with occasional bursts of nearly 0% depending on, the winds and whatnot. So there's still a lot of death and decay. I'm still in the process of trying to figure out what's going on. I was thinking that maybe there's not enough nutrients in the soil, especially when I bombed it with copious amounts of diluted hydrogen peroxide to try to flush out and kill all the bugs inside and whatever other pestilence is in there. The top layer of soil looks really dry now, and I think that presents a good opportunity to add some water with fertilizer in it. I'm just going to use this Miracle-Gro watering can singles. It's an all-purpose vegetative growth food with a high nitrogen content, 24%, and this probably will get the trick done if this is the problem at all. And if this is not the problem, I can always just water copiously and get rid of all the fertilizer by flushing it out through the bottom water tray. I don't know if this is the right move for sure, but it doesn't hurt to try. If I notice adverse effects, I can always undo this by flooding the soil with water. Either tap or distilled water will be even better. Now I'm spraying with some distilled water to get any fertilizer off the leaves and the stems. It's day 213. The water trays are pretty full. The water usage is very, very minimal. As you can see, there's hardly any functioning foliage. Everything looks like a disaster. It's getting progressively worse. Only the stems are really green, functioning, and photosynthesizing. All these leaves are basically folded up in half, curled up, and have a burned, dying appearance. And I think everything's just going to get reclaimed into the roots. I've sprayed with insecticide and hydrogen peroxide so many times, but these spider mites keep coming back in waves. These adults basically announce their presence by spinning little webs. And there's not that much foliage left, and for the ones that I've cut away almost all the leaves, they basically just wander around and spin the tiniest of webs. Everything looks like a disaster, but plant number 4, I should really rename these things and just call this plant A, has a bright spot. Plant A has a new shoot system. It's just erupted this morning, so I'm quite excited that growth has occurred, new growth, much faster than expected. This shoot system from last week, it's doing okay, but the tip is dead, so that really worries me. So I've trimmed away all the dead leaves, and it's not a pretty sight, but it looks a lot better now. At least it's not a total eyesore. When you trim away the leaves, it really does resemble bamboo. My prediction for the future is that the foliage will continue to die back, and these stems one by one will be reabsorbed, the nutrients will be reclaimed by the root systems, and eventually new shoot systems will appear. Alright, it's day 217. It's pretty hot indoors, and even though there are rays of sunshine coming in and things look bright physically, it's a pretty dismal picture. Some of these shoot systems are withered husks compared to what they were 72 hours ago. And they have spider mites on them as well. This pot looks pretty much doomed. For plant A on the right, things look a lot better. These shoot systems are hanging on for a little bit longer from the original generation. There were 4 stalks that went up pretty high, and the second generation is just kind of slowly languishing there. You can see the stalks being cannibalized or turning brown. That shoot system, which once seemed promising just a few days ago, now doesn't seem so much. This new shoot system for plant A, the beginning of the 3rd generation of shoot systems, is a thing of beauty. It's unmarred. It doesn't have any spider mites on it. This shoot system represents the turnaround point for this series, I would say. It's day 218, and I finally splurged and got some new insecticide. I'm just kidding. This thing only costs about $11 after tax. It's a triazicide insecticide. It's supposed to be, good for everything, and it basically has a half-life of 5 days. It's pyrethroid cocktail, much like the Bare Advanced, except this is fresh stuff, not super old. Plant A's newest shoot system looks great from a distance, but when I look closely, I'm detecting some early symptoms of problems coming down the road. That first leaf, you can see the tip kind of sticking out lower left side. That is yellow. It looks like it's been burned. The second leaf, which is in the center, sticking out to the right, it kind of looks pitted, a little bit brownish and thin in a spot towards the base where it's hugging against all the other leaves. It's not a traditional stem by any stretch, but that kind of suggests that maybe the hydrogen peroxide isn't the innocuous solution I thought it was. It seems to be more of an area of effect weapon that kills indiscriminately. So if you sprayed all the hydrogen peroxide solutions I've sprayed on these plants on your skin, no problem. You won't notice anything really, because maybe you'd lose some dead skin cells, but your skin would regenerate very quickly. But for a plant like this that grows very slowly, maybe the waxy cuticle gets damaged, maybe the hydrogen peroxide gets into the stomata and causes a lot of damage there. I don't know what the mechanism is, but damage is happening. So in retrospect, I may have caused a lot of the death and decay that you see here, but I think in the future, if I just stick to the new triazicide pesticide and use that to control the spider mites, there shouldn't be any problems. And in fact, for this pot on the left, you can see a new shoot system coming out at the base of this one that's still green. So I'm just going to call this plant B. It's closest to the viewer near the watering tray. That dead husk in the middle will be plant D. This plant will be named plant C from now on, and it's got a new shoot system coming out as well. So they're all bunched up together. I don't know what the deal is with this plant, but yeah, that's a promising sign.